So during this lockdown period, South Africa is going through the pits. So much for the support from my family and friends. I actually sent them my first intro video and they were so psyched. They were happy. They were excited for me. So I love you guys.
Let's see, let's not connection at the moment.
Hey,
Hey,
how's it?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, you look
Thank you.
sleepy. But
Thank you so much for honoring me.
usually thank you for being awake at this time. How are you doing?
I'm exhausted, but yeah, I'm
I
good.
can tell. I can tell. I can tell by
Yeah, hectic.
your eyes says it all. I got my energy
Yeah.
drink.
Ngiphethe enye drink la mara yeah.
Ah, uzosibulala isibheki icele. Uzosibulala isibheki icele.
Angifuni ukuboshwa.
He's very strict about it. But just
Yeah.
to dive into it, about ukuthi uzokhona
Yeah.
ukulala. I
Yeah.
mean, you wear about 4 different hats or 3 different hats. We're just gonna break this
Yeah.
thing down in 3 phases, which is gonna be Mbali,
Yeah.
how you grew up, your background, Mbali the family lady, and Mbali the career lady. Yeah, but
Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So Zamuk we know you've got a small child that needs you and a husband that needs you as well.
Yeah. He's in the background somewhere.
Ne?
Cool.
Who is
Yeah.
Mbali?
So Mbali.
Yes.
Mbali basically is a lady who grew up in the East Rand.
Mm-hmm.
My husband calls it Emaplasin, but funny enough, it's Olumfazi
Nice.
Emaplasin. You know? So yeah, I grew up. I grew up at Echalekstal in the East Rand as well as the Etalpak. So yeah, my mom and my dad were actually separated. So there was a portion of my life where I lived with my dad, and then
Yes.
on weekends I'd go visit my mom. So yeah, I
Wow.
think I learned most of my traits from my dad. And
Mm-hmm.
growing up, man, just seeing him, I realized so many things about independence and
Mm.
about wanting more from life. You understand?
Yes.
Cause yeah, because my dad was honestly a bachelor, so you'd see ladies coming in and out. But mabaphuma banjalo, go on. Uyeza
Yes.
uyavakasha mabaxoshile uphuma namaplastiki wakho, and I was like, I never want to be these girls. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, simply because as well, like my dad was fully established and in the way I had everything.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna sidetrack a bit, but sometimes you find ukuthi umuntu onayo yonke into doesn't see value in someone else, basically, right? So
That's so
another
true. Yeah.
trait I got from that was, yeah, I need to find someone who's also starting their life and not someone
Mm.
who's fully accomplished, because sometimes they don't see the value that you bring, right? I already have everything. What else are you bringing besides your ass, basically?
Hey.
So yeah, so yeah, that's yeah, part of the things that turned me into the person that I am.
That's your
And
yes.
I studied psychology, funny enough, but didn't
Oh,
complete.
my brother
I
thinking
didn't
it.
complete. I was thinking,
Mm.
yeah, ngikumbheka ngithi wena. Yeah. I studied psychology, but I just realized after, like, okay, I was actually about to do my third year
Yeah.
that it wasn't for me. And my mom was just like, okay, girl, you need to choose something that you're going to do for a year because Nina, my money is done. So, Uzosibona, if you think this course is not for you, find something that you like and do it. Yeah. And then I studied a 1-year course in IT. And then from there, yeah, I just flourished. From there, I got work. And now I am a business system analyst for a big alcohol company or firm.
Oh, okay, man. You mentioned Clinic Camera. I don't know that place in Eastern. Yes, it's a place. Yeah. Eastern is a country on its own. Must
Yes.
say as well. So you mentioned
Yeah.
another name. You said if Pegasus what?
Galextal.
Alexa.
Yes.
Ingakuphi Eastern?
Uyayazi iTsakan.
Yes. I see Takan. Yes, I've been to Takan
Galextal
twice.
is
So.
right next to Tsakan. It's like close, very close to each other. Yeah. It's a
Oh,
colored dominating area.
yeah, hence the name. Hence the name.
As the name,
So,
yes.
so growing up under that background, you would see your parents are separated, um,
Yes.
and your dad is a bachelor. I don't know why you chose your dad over your mom. That's a story for another day as well. And I don't want to take your content for your channel as well. Um,
Yeah.
how was it like growing up under those circumstances?
I think for me, it because I didn't know any different. That's where I
Yes.
grew up. So for me, it was perfectly fine. I
Mm.
actually enjoyed the quiet moments because
Mm.
my dad lived in a suburb, so it was literally like silence. Nje. You would hear cars zindlula, but you learn to be on your own,
Yes.
and find peace within yourself. So I really enjoyed that.
Mm.
I didn't have friends. My dad was the type of person who would say, umngani uzaba incwadi, you know. So yeah, it
Wow.
it was. I have siblings from my dad's side of the family, but
Yes.
because we were like ages, the age differences was quite
Yes.
bigish. So there wasn't really that much connection. So you just learn to grow up and build your character on your own, basically. So yeah.
Wow. So what kind of a child were you, Eskela? I mean, it should have been interesting. But we little papayo, or it was just quite cheap. Masalekone, and just do schoolwork.
I think a little bit of both.
Mm.
Not quiet. Okay, maybe quiet. I think people used to say I'm mean because I have that. They call it a resting bitch face, but I have that serious. So people were scared to approach me sometimes.
Yeah.
But once you sit with me and talk to me, you'll understand that I'm just the marshmallow. So at school, I used to be a prefect most of my
Mm.
years in school, but also
Mm.
mischievous. Yeah, so I'm a bankas, I was that girl.
Mm.
Yeah, but in my parents' eyes, yeah, I was the sweetest baby ever. I never gave them
Great.
problems, you know. Yeah.
Wow. So at school,
Yes.
grade 10, I mean, that's where all of us make our career choices. Bufuna ukuyenzani?
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned psychology. Is that what you wanted to do, or there was a first choice?
Yeah. I wanted to be a chartered accountant. Um,
Okay.
yeah. I wanted to be a chartered accountant. And then I don't know, it just outgrew me.
Mm.
Yeah, it just outgrew me for some odd reason. And in all honesty, psychology was my mom's choice for me. She was like,
Yes.
"Yeah, try psychology." I
Mm.
think those parents, especially in our Black culture, there are certain careers that they consider like mawenza leyo nto leyo, yeah, umsebenzi,
Yeah, right, yeah,
like,
yeah.
being a nurse, being a psychologist, because it's also like some form of a doctor. So I think she also had that plan in her head that umntanam naye makana, yabo.
Yeah, uzoba vele grand empilweni.
Uzoba right, uzoba relevant.
Yeah, yeah. But then what changed when after matric? What changed? What changed your mind?
To do psychology.
Yes.
I think I also liked this whole thing of getting to understand the human mind and how we as beings function. And even though I've left psychology, I still preach like mental health, you know. I'm gonna derail a bit, but I feel like as a country we are people who don't take mental health seriously. We, especially Black people, grow up umuntu mangekho right and about dementia or whatever, that say we are lawyer, or you know, things like that. Yes. Like if you try to put them it's always like we are lawyer, but you'll never know. Certain people, it's dementia and they're starting to lose they mind, basically, you know. So because we grew up not taking mental health seriously, I think it's part of the reason why we have so many problems as a nation. So yeah, I think that's why Isaac was like, okay, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
Wow, man. And uqala nini ukujola? I'm just gonna go offer him by I mean, your dad mega big. And where do you find time, Yokjola? I know my parents used to leave early, so my time was that, Yokjola. So I used to be late. Yeah, it was my time. So when I was calling me.
Hey, Jola, serious. I think it was grade 10. Grade 10. Grade 10, we're saying Kalupapa, I was saying Hamba Mapati, saying sneaker out, you know. And grade 10 was actually, I actually moved to live with my mom from grade 8. So that whole freedom, remember Pela Gubaba Mbegui prison. So when I lived with my mom, so my mom was more lenient and you know, like I understand, so to go out and enjoy. Basantendelama, please call, come out. Please call. Please call out.
Ike time, so ke siyakhera. So time bengekho.
Time bengekho bazobujanga, please call, come out, uphume ume ngaphandle umuntu okhona angaveli. Makafona kusasa last week.
Ah, wow. I'm laughing because I was one of those now. Come out.
Yeah, boy.
I mean, I miss you, Gash. Yeah. So, while you're dating, did your mom have a conversation with you about dating, about boys, and less of stage left?
In all honesty, no. The only line I heard was that uzopreka. What, Jola? Uzopreka?
Our parents.
Uzopreka or uzokul? Yeah. It's just those lines, but nothing honest or open. So yeah, no, we didn't have a serious conversation about dating.
No, and I can just imagine you staying with your mom and you have to sneak out now and then. Your check or it wasn't easy. Hectic. I mean, no, it wasn't easy.
A lot of times. Because uyabona le nto ukuthi ubuye yini i-Apollo maseyilayitiwe ubuye endlini. Wena usamile lapha ngaphandle kanti yena sekavala amakhethini makathi khethini.
And you know ukuthi umngane ngaleso sikhathi.
Yeah.
And speaking about your mom,
Yes.
you lost your mom, I think in 2019, last year.
Yeah, November.
Take us through that moment when you got that call, that SMS. Oguti,
Sure.
the person that you knew all your life is no more. The person that you used to make jokes and you used to call for advice and everything is no more.
Yeah.
How did you feel? How was that space? That moment?
In honesty, I think I went through a stage of denial. Yeah, it was hectic because I remember I got a call around 3 a.m. Because she was in hospital. So I got a call at 3 a.m. and imagine she's in Joburg, I'm in Cape Town. So I got a call at 3 a.m. Yes, my phone ring but something just said, "Hey man, just check your phone now." And I checked and it's actually the hospital she was in. So I called back and they're like, okay, we're gonna take you through to the department she's sleeping in and we'll get a nurse to talk to you. So, esibhedlela, they don't really tell you what's going on. All they'll say is that the condition has changed and you guys need to come to the hospital ASAP, right? So, and I think the saddest part was that she only had one baby, which is me, and my grandmother as well only had one child, which is my mom. So, yeah, it was really hectic. I think I also haven't dealt with it. Yeah, I'm still in that process of, I don't know, what is it? Loss, or losing someone. You go through phases of different emotions. There are days where it's hectic. There are days where you're kind of okay, and then there are days where you just can't function at all. So I'm still going through that process. It's difficult.
I feel your pain because your story is pretty much kind of mine, because I lost my dad in 2017. Now, the call came at 4:30 a.m. I was in Cape Town as well. Getting that call, having to get to hear he's no more. That space, that time, that moment, everything just shut down. Everything just stopped. And I also went through that space of denial to the point where in 2018, I lost enormous weight. That young child with son is gone. Now he's already gone. And I said, God is no more. You understand? So I understand where you at, and it's just last year, and not even a year for you. It might have been hard, and it might have been hard. And how did your husband take it at that point? So I understand it.
Yeah. I think sometimes God, has His plans, right? I'm a person who believes in God, so I think He has His plans. My husband also lost his mom, so I think for him, he was able to comfort me because he knew what I was going through, and I think he pulled me together. In all honesty, so he's been a pillar of strength because he understands what I'm going through. It's not like I'm trying to explain to someone who hasn't gone through the exact same thing. He understands. So I feel like God decided to bless me with someone because God knows isn't as way before they even gonna happen, So I think He knew Ubuti at that point in time I would need someone who went through the same thing as I did.
And that that brings me to the next phase of you being a wife, you being a mother. And speaking of your husband, I mean, we're Takan, we're Glenn. You. For those who don't know and who haven't watched your channel and your story,
Yeah.
nihlangana njani? Sakani Glenn. I mean, nah,
Okay,
guys.
so it was actually the year when I started working, when I got a job in Sandton, Rivonia. Ne? And
Yes.
where I was working, his company basically owned the office park, right? So Tina, our
Oh.
company was renting space from his office park. And then i-company yakhe-ke, because we were great ngama Fridays, baba nalama drinks lawa uCyril angafuniswa phuza thina singanawo.
Yeah.
So we would go to his side of the town, basically, or the area, and then drink there. So one particular Friday, he saw me and he approached me, you know. But yeah, yeah.
The rest is history. And I must say, you are married to an amazing
Yes.
guy. He's an amazing human being. He's fairly quiet at times.
Uyamkhulumela.
He's an amazing guy. I know for a fact that he is an amazing guy. Who's lucky
Yeah.
between the two of you? Be honest.
That's not a fair question. He's lucky
He's
to have
lucky.
me. Your friend can't
Oh, he's
cook,
lucky.
so without me, that means uzolamba. Akakwazi ukupheka.
Hey,
So, like,
take away.
yeah,
Nice.
like.
Nice. Uzayibukela yena self. How's married life? How is married life? I mean, I was watching the news, or rather, I was reading news feed this
Yeah.
morning, and I saw
Yeah.
the breakup galerato, and a lot of breakups that have been happening this year alone, and we are only in May, So
Yeah.
how's married life?
I'll speak for myself. It's not easy.
Yes.
But
Can be.
it's amazing. It has its ups and downs, just like every relationship, or yeah, it has its ups and downs. It's not easy, but it's good. It's great. It's lovely to have someone by your side all the time, So I'm enjoying it. I am
It's
enjoying
quite
it.
refreshing to hear you say that, because a lot of people are thinking online. I'm also newly just got married last year as well, so I must say
Yes.
it's not easy. It can be easy. I mean, you guys are different. I mean, you didn't grow up in the same household, so with different values and different beliefs. So not easy. However, we make it work either way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Advice
I think
to young couple.
the biggest problem I think people have within marriage is to have expectations that are unrealistic. By that I mean, like, they're expecting everything to be hunky-dory, roses and everything, And I always say this to a person: if you can fight, or if you can argue with someone like your sibling or even twins, right? What more someone ungazalwanga naye? Do you understand?
Yes.
You're gonna clash, you're gonna have differences, but at the end of the day, you must know why you got into the marriage in the first place. People get married for the wrong reasons. People get married because of pressure. People get married because they are just longing for marriage. They just want to see themselves happy, whereas maybe the other party is not ready. So people don't want to have certain conversations about marriage. Before they even get married, there are certain things you need to discuss just to find out if you're on the same page, right? Because marriage
Yes.
intensifies everything. If you think when you're dating he's mean, he's whatever, when you get married he's gonna be 20 times worse because now that person
Exactly.
is in your face 24/7, right? So everything that's happening when you're dating is gonna be intensified when you're married. So the things that you
Yes.
can't handle when you're dating, then yeah, when you're married it won't be any better, basically, you know. So it yeah, it has
Wow.
its pros and cons, but yeah, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, even when you argue with your partner or like with your spouse or husband or wife, right? I think the most
Mm-hmm.
important thing is to choose your battles and to also understand why you're arguing, right? Because I think sometimes we tend to want to win in an argument, whereas it's not about you winning, it's about you guys winning, finding a common ground within your argument, and
Mm.
understanding why you're arguing. Don't just argue for the sake of arguing and because you want to feel smarter than the other person, but
Yes.
yeah, try and communicate. You know, I'm not saying we are perfect. We have our days where I just want to strangle him, in all honesty.
Obviously.
um
Obviously.
but yeah, but
Obviously.
but we yeah, we make it work, man. We make it work.
No, definitely, man. You make it work. I remember the first few weeks, it was difficult for me and my wife, and because
Mm-hmm.
we different beliefs and different, she's colored, I'm black, and now we have to, I have my own things, the way that I was raised as a black child, and the way she was raised as a color,
Mm-hmm.
it's different. So we had to make it work, and now, I mean, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. Right
Yeah.
now, things are going well. Now,
Yep.
being a mother, how did that change your life? I know being a father
Whoa.
changed my life.
Where do I even start?
Hey,
I
nah,
think,
nah.
yeah, yeah, that one has been the biggest thing for me. Like
Mm,
even starting from pregnancy to birth to everything, you know. Um,
mm,
I found it very difficult. In all honesty, I've been that type of girl that thought, hey, when you're pregnant, you're gonna glow, you know? You know, you're gonna look pretty, everything is gonna be smooth. Hey, pregnancy is difficult, guys. It changes you. Like
mm.
sometimes you end up looking in the mirror and don't recognize what you see, you know? And it doesn't help that in society we have people who are also going to make you feel miserable. You know, you already know that your neck is black, you already know that you're fat, you already know, and you're going to get people who are just going to be like, yo, now I'll say movie, you know, and already your self-esteem is your
Yeah,
self-esteem is shot. Like it messes up with your mentality. And I think I also
yes.
went through a phase of postnatal depression a bit. Wasn't hectic, but yeah, I struggled like a lot with my emotions, especially with the way I looked after giving birth as well. It was just like,
Yes.
hey man, yeah, it's a lot. It's so much, right? So, and the whole expectation of being this perfect wife, perfect mother, perfect colleague as well. So juggling everything is also not easy. So yeah, it's like you need to put on 20 hats as one person, and it takes a toll on you.
And you mentioned that it just took away my last question in terms of this phase. Uh, Plans of having a brother for the sister?
No,
No, I
no,
don't
I
think
don't know
he
about
will agree with
age.
you. I don't think he will
We
agree.
have conversations about it all the time, and I'm just like, I'm preserving my body. I can't look like
Nah,
what I
man,
looked like before. And
you need a
birth
boy.
is
I recently got a
traumatizing.
boy. It
Birth
is,
is
eh? It is.
traumatizing.
I,
It's hectic.
I was traumatized when my wife got my son. because it was cesarean. So I was there in the room. What I saw, I don't think,
Yeah.
but it changed the way that I looked at doctors, the way that I started appreciating them more, and I started appreciating women more that go through that.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. Yeah.
but I know he needs a boy.
Yeah. I think also like I think men
Mm.
who are not responsible in terms of having kids and just leaving them like that, part of the reason was that they were not part of the journey, right? Because in
Mm.
all honesty, I don't know a man that will go through a journey like that with you and neglect the baby. Because if
Mm.
you understand everything that a woman goes through during pregnancy and during labor, I mean, you'll appreciate every little moment. I mean, birth is
Mm.
already like life and death, you know? My birth
Yes.
was meant to be natural, but it ended up in an emergency C-section. So things change so
Mm.
quickly. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's hectic.
It's hectic, man. It's hectic. I think about that. Just in closing, there's a friend of mine actually lost his wife. She was about to give. She actually gave birth, and everything was well. And then it just changed in a second. And 5 minutes later, she was gone. So
Yeah.
it's hectic, man. Now into lighter mode. We've been fed for. I mean, your head as a career woman, you're a woman. Uh, you're a creative. You
Yep.
also mentioned that you work for this beer company. We won't mention them.
Yeah.
You're doing something at Canada. I mean, how do
Yeah.
you juggle around? How do you manage to balance all of these things? Being a wife, a creative, being a businesswoman as well. On top of that, you have to be a wife.
Yeah. It's not easy, obviously, but also I think sometimes you need to balance things out. I was a person when I grew up, I never believed in getting a helper or getting someone who's going to be in my house helping with chores and stuff because I wanted to be that perfect, wife that does
Mm.
everything. But sometimes being honest and saying, actually, I can't do everything. I can delegate certain things to other people to do.
Mm.
And honestly, that's how you end up coping. I even had to take my daughter to a nursery when she was only like 3 or 4 months. And yeah, I got a lot of criticism from people, but I was like, you know what? This works for me because at the end of the day, I go to work
Mm.
and I come back late, right? So if my child during the day is learning something at a nursery and is doing something, at least I'm at ease. Do you understand?
Yes.
So yeah, it's about just trying to balance everything out, and in everything that's happening, don't forget yourself as well. So I think part of me creating my YouTube channel was just to lift my mood, man. I'm a
Mm.
storyteller, basically. I love telling
Yes.
stories, and that's what makes my mood happier. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this thing that's gonna lift my mood and just bring back Mbali, basically, because it's easy
Yes.
to get lost in everything that's happening and just get consumed and forget who you are. So yeah.
So true. And when you got Umbali back, I mean, your marriage life benefits. Your daughter will benefit as well, and everyone that is just around you will benefit as well. Was that the
Yeah.
plan in terms of creating the YouTube channel all along, or was something that just came out? Jay?
I've been watching people on YouTube for a very long
Mm.
time, and what I struggled to get was that connection of like a real person that has gone through real things. So I didn't see people
Mm.
I knew on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I want to tap into this industry. I want to start my own channel. I want to tell my stories. I want to have my friends on the channel to tell their stories as well, you know. So yeah, I think it has always been there, but I've been procrastinating, trying to get equipment, you know, when you make excuses. Yeah, and then we just had this pandemic, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm starting with
Let's do
whatever I
this.
have. Let's do this. Yeah.
Wow. And I've been watching from the first episode and to the episode that we are at now. I've said it to him and I've commented on the thing. It's quite amazing to watch and just to see you go through that. I was watching as a fan, not as a brother or as a friend.
Yes.
And it's just an amazing, it's going to grow and it's just going to go to amazing heights. I know you're playing the long game in 5 years, in 3 years' time, in 10 years' time. It's going to be just on another level. I know. People will go back and search, oh, okay, cool. This is what we go through. How do we get over someone? You know, and that was very interesting as well. I think a lot of people need to watch that. Yes. A lot of people are suffering from that.
I did it for my fellow sisters. I didn't know that men will also enjoy watching it because men get very
I've got friends and brothers who are still jihad. They can't even trust one girl. You understand? So it's a problem. They need to know how to get over that and give another girl a chance to be able to enjoy. They don't enjoy. You know, they can't even get married now because they're afraid they'll get hurt. They're afraid, whatever. You know, so they need to get over that. They need to watch your video. You know, your
watch
clip.
my video.
You know, I say
Definitely.
So, take us through the process of planning the content of the Yanza. Take us even the day of the shooter.
It's honestly always, it's always like a mess. My husband is always the one that says, write down what you're going to speak about. I'm like, you know what? I'm a person who does things in impromptu, you know? Not that I don't like to plan, but sometimes I don't want to curate a lot. I want to speak from the heart and I want to speak the truth. I find that sometimes if you try and script things, they're not genuine. So I just like going with the flow, you know? And sometimes I'll have a plan. Okay, I'm going to speak about this. And then I derail to something else. And I find that people enjoy that content. So yeah, it's just about how I feel that day and then just speaking about that.
Oh wow. So how is he involved? How much is he involved in terms of content creation?
He's my editor, my cameraman, my setup manager. He's everything.
I know he's quite a creative too. He's very creative, very, very creative. So now you've created this channel. The first episode is out there. Were you expecting the numbers that you got? Were you looking at the numbers, or you're just like me? You were just like okay, easy. Now let's go to the next one.
I think it was like Nienzile. Let's go to the next one. But also, I appreciated the amount of people that watched it. Do you understand? I didn't expect to get that much viewers or whatever, you know. So it kept me going. Obviously, getting people viewing keeps you going, but that doesn't mean now if you don't get people who view, you stop, right? Because sometimes you need to be ready. You'll never know. So just carry on, do what you do. One day people will watch, and one day people will make sure that your channel or whatever is a success, right? So I think, I'm derailing. I'm going to another topic, but I think
go. You are allowed to. You are allowed to.
I think it's sometimes we want to wait, or we want validation from other people. But if you start on your own, and if you build yourself and you become courageous and you become what is this, confident in the way you speak and whatever, you know, you get to grow as a person, right? So sometimes don't seek validation from other people. Do what you believe you want to do, and you'll never know. Maybe in 2 years time or whatever, you'll be the best thing ever, you know. Maybe this whole thing will be a radio station with a setup. We'll be chilling. You'll never know, you know. So start whatever you want to start, and make sure that you are ready for the blessing that's gonna come your way, right? Because sometimes also God is testing you. He wants to see, it's okay, with the 2 rand that this person has, what will that person do? Will she sit and say, no, I'm actually waiting for 300 rand? Or will she take the 2 rand and run with it, you know? So, yeah, that's what I believe.
Because what if the 300 doesn't come? You know, you just spoke about something saying, what if 300 doesn't come? I mean, a lot of people are waiting and waiting. Who knew we were going to be on lockdown this year, this time? Who knew? Nobody did. People had planned. No. People are losing jobs left and right. You know, right now, I have friends that have got, they used to stay in penthouses. They've lost their jobs. Now they have to go back a car. Most of them, they didn't even have you know, bachelors and how they live and how, you know, right now you have to go back a day. You have to start from scratch. You understand? Which is going to be another problem. That's where psychologists need to come in. That's where the parents need to come in and motivate the guy with Ntwana. You've learned from that. You need to move on from that. Understand? We have plenty of time. We have a lot of time right now to do whatever that you want to do. You're in lockdown. Yeah. People are at home. People are checking emails. I've been speaking to a lot of people. I have meetings almost every day because people are at home. People have time on their hands. This is the time for us to take advantage. As creative, take advantage of whatever. Do whatever that you want to do. I mean, the world is ending. You believe in the Bible, and I know for a fact that this is the end times. So, usapangela your talent, usapangela whatever that you wanted to do. The world is ending.
Yes. And sometimes it's God's plan. Do you understand? Even though you speak to someone who's lost a job, who is starting from scratch, maybe you needed to start from scratch. Do you understand? Maybe this is the time to rediscover you, and you start from scratch, you know. For me personally, in lockdown, I feel like it was a time for me to rediscover myself. I feel like I was getting lost in everything that I was doing, and I think I also was turning into a miserable person, and it was just a lot. So during this time, it quietened a lot of things, and I got to do self-reflection and realize a lot about myself and start changing the things that I don't like, right? So
you just touched on the second last question that I was going to ask you, because I was going to ask you, how much has it affected you? As you said, it has helped you so much more than the effect that it has on other people. What can you say to a young girl or Sekasi who's saying, Mama Baba was showing. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to run to. Even so what do I do?
I think sometimes we rely so much on other people for help. I think also during lockdown, I just noticed how much as a nation we are talented. People are coming up with so many talents. People are cookers now. People are chefs. You know, who knew?
Yes.
You know, people like find what you can do, Njewena, as a person without anything, without help from anyone, right? If you're a person who speaks, like, I don't know, if you're a person who writes, like, find what's your skill? What are you good at? We all have our blessings and our skills. I believe that every single one has their talent that God has given them. So find that, right? Pray about it, find it, and I'm telling you, it will change your life. And I think most of the time, also self-esteem does a lot for you, right? Because if you don't feel good, even though uzoya interview, but if you yourself don't trust in yourself, how do you expect someone else to trust in you? You know?
Exactly.
So it also comes from within. Do work with yourself first, and then you'll find what you are meant to do, right? So, and another thing is that, see, Zotin, most of the time we look at other people's lives. Yes, it's good to draw inspiration, but don't look and long for someone else's life, because ours, maybe you'll never know. You know, you don't know what another person is doing to have what they have. So never look at someone else's life, because the minute you focus on someone else's life, your blessings, like, I mean, let's say God had your blessings here in his hands and you are focusing somewhere else. Whatever he's giving you here, you're not focusing on that, because you are looking at the other person and what you consider as perfect from the other person that you are looking at, right? So I think it's good, draw inspiration, but ungafuni impilo yomunye umuntu, because that's not going to take you anywhere. Instead, it's going to make you feel, you're gonna be jealous, you're gonna be so many things that are not good, basically. So it's good to always ubheka impilo yakho wena uyi-one, focus on yourself, do work with yourself, and then kuzala.
Wow, amazing, amazing. I mean, this has been an amazing interview. Now I know why God wanted me to interview you, because you've shared so much. You have shared so much knowledge. As much as I've laughed my life out, you've shared so much knowledge that a lot of people that are going to watch this on our YouTube channel and Facebook as well, they're just going to be inspired. They're just going to change their lives and start looking at life differently because of what you said. A lot of young people that didn't believe in married life, they start looking at your life and say, wow, they're not perfect. However, they're trying. Why don't I try? Why don't I sit down with my husband, my boyfriend, or whoever that is? Speak to him, speak to that. Why don't I deal with myself? So you have to deal with the man in the mirror, and then everything is going to fall into place. You understand? And never worry about anything. Never worry about you tomorrow. Never worry about the neighbor or your cousin or whatever. Worry about the man in the mirror. Worry about yourself. I mean, that is so profound.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I've always wanted to tell you this. I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of the work that you're about to do. I foresee your channel to be one of the biggest. If not this year, early next year, you'll tell me. You'll tell me. It's just gonna go to another level.
I receive.
Yeah, and you believe in God, so I believe in God. So thank you very much for honoring this. I mean, it's not easy. The reason why I wanted to change the time actually. However, I remember why on the grind. People that don't sleep is hustlers. So hustlers don't sleep at this time. They're hustling all the time. It's not easy to be up this time, but yeah, hustling. We have to do what we have to do.
Definitely. Thank you so much for featuring me on your station. I know that you will, the station is going places, man. I love your interviewing skills. It's amazing. Your voice is for radio, you know? Yeah, no. You are killing it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Herman. Thank you. Nah, man. Please, everyone, after Indini, definitely I'll come through as promised after the lockdown. You know, I'll definitely come through for your bride. Definitely. That I promise.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone who
Good night. Good morning.
We love you.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. Bye.
Sharp, sharp. Wow, man.
Darky Magazine.